Hey, what's going on, people? This is another edition of the Ace Takers Rants, and we'll be talking about some week 16 action with my teams: Detroit Lions, Oakland Raiders, and Houston Texans. Now, a very interesting week. Let me just start out by saying congratulations to us Lions fans, Lions Nation, Lions team, Jim Caldwell for making the playoffs in his first year. Lions are headed to the playoffs. Either way, win or loss next week, they're headed to the playoffs. So, first time since 2011. It's been a real agonizing, and I mean really agonizing, last couple of years. Very disappointed 2012 season. Very disappointed 2013 season. So to be back in this position where we're back in the playoffs in January is awesome, because we know with the Lions it's very rare for this team to ever get there. Last time they won the playoff game was 1991. Last time they won a game in Green Bay was 1992, I believe. Or was it 1991? 1991. Dang, everything is all in 1991. That was before Brett Favre got to Green Bay, by the way. So, setting up a huge matchup next week now. I'll go more into the Lions because there was some important news that came out earlier this morning by one of my teams, the Oakland Raiders, staying in Oakland. Now, I'm doing two different videos, but it's the same. But I'm going to cut one of them to just include this whole huge news about the Raiders staying in Oakland. As a Raiders fan, this is good news. It's good news for the Chargers fans and the Rams fans. They're going to stay in their cities for another year and possibly another year after that, because it just doesn't seem like the LA situation is still ready to go. I think the league is taking the right approach. They're being patient. They're waiting for the right situation for the stadium to get built. I think the whole thing that went into it is they didn't want a team moving down there, and the stadium situation still wasn't good. And I honestly think, man, especially after this news, and I heard this from one of the insiders talking about this thing earlier, that it's very likely the NFL is going to be forced to expand. They're going to probably do another expansion. From what I'm hearing, Toronto's getting a team, LA's getting a team, possibly San Antonio. And I don't know about another market. I know London's going to get one in the future. The league is going to expand again, and LA's going to get their team through expansion. Probably nobody moves. If anybody moves, it's going to be the Rams, from what I'm hearing. The Raiders and Chargers are going to try to make it work in California. But, it's still up in the air because both of those teams still don't have good stadium situations. But Mark Davis signed a lease today, another 1-year lease. This was something that he didn't want to do, but, hey, he was forced to. I mean, there was nothing that was going to get done in L.A. anyways. So it still gives Oakland some more time to get the stadium built. And ultimately, they need to get the stadium built and need to get this thing figured out very soon. San Diego's on the clock too. They got to get their shit. They got to get their shit together down there as well. I think the league or whatever needs to start putting some pressure on the cities that's trying to keep these teams. Not on the LA situation, on the cities that's trying to keep these teams. They need to get something done because it's very slow right now and it's not looking good. Now, the reason why the Rams will likely move is because their owner, Stan Kroenke, has land built. I mean, he has land owned that he purchased in the LA area. So he's not wasting his money on that. You know what I mean? So more than likely he's going to try to get that thing figured out, and we'll know more. This is more of an off-season story than it is an in-season story. We've just been hearing more rumors than anything during the season, but we'll probably hear more about this in the off-season. But for now, those great people in Oakland, I go to Oakland like once a year. Most years I went there early in the year for the Chargers game. And those fans are great. They are great fans, man, and they deserve to keep their team. The support has been unbelievable all season long. It's been a tough season. but the support has been very good. They won a huge game today against Buffalo. More than likely, I haven't heard if they officially got kicked out of Buffalo, but they won that game. I actually didn't see that game because I was asleep around that time, man. When when the game was finalizing, I was just out of it, man. I really haven't had any sleep. Detroit game was early in the day, took a lot out of me, so I've been up all morning. I couldn't handle it, man. But I do plan on watching this game later on and see what happened. And this is very good because it's the last home game of the season. They're more likely to lose in Denver next week, so it was a good thing. This to me, this is the send-off game. Next week's game is just a technicality. You got to play it on your schedule. To me, this was the game right here for the Raiders. This was the game that they needed to really build a foundation on next season. I think the Raiders have officially turned the corner here as a franchise, as an organization. The 10-year run, I think, is over. The 10-year runs of bad seasons, I think, is over. They won't make the playoffs next year, but I think that they will be on track to make it the year after that. I think they still got another season to develop. They got to get some more draft picks in there and really develop those guys. But Carr and Mack, I mean, as long as those two guys are healthy, man, this team is they're on the right path, man. Carr has shown unbelievable ability, and the Raiders have been impressive at home this year, 3-5. Despite their record 3-5, they're only one game for 500. So it's been a pretty good season at home. They just on the road. They like a different team sometimes on the road, but they'll eventually learn how to win on the road. That's the next step. You got to learn how to win on the road. That's why I say they're not ready to make the playoffs yet. But eventually they're going to make it in. But this Raiders team, they are ready to make it to the next level, man. I think that this team, the guys in that locker room, man, also for going through it, Charles Woodson, I admire the fuck out of that dude for going through all this losing, but still playing every week at his age and grinding and battling and being a warrior, teaching these young guys how to play. I mean, it's unbelievable. I'm glad Charles Woodson will end his career with the Raiders, man. I believe he'll definitely be back next year. Hopefully he'll be back at least for the first season they're back in the playoffs, man. Which should be in the next 2 years. If he's back by then, man, if he plays his last season in one of those seasons, I'll be happy, man. I hope he plays till he's 40. Because I think he deserves to at least be a part of that first playoff game back for the Raiders, man. He's one of the original Raiders and everything like that. Now, next week, I will get more into the coaching thing because, next week's the last week. I really don't want to get into it this week. This week was more about the whole Raiders staying in Oakland ordeal. And like I said, like I told people, man, Mark Davis is somebody who I really like as an owner, man. I told people this about a month ago that I really like what he's been trying to. He's doing things differently than what his father's doing, and this is why I think the Raiders have a better chance of staying in Oakland under his tenure than they did probably under someone like Al Davis, who loves Oakland, but I never doubt that about him. But the thing is, I think Mark Davis is trying to set things up. He's reestablishing relationships with other teams, and that's very important. You want to have some owners on your side, man, when things go wrong, man. And like I said, I don't know if this team will ever stay in Oakland or not, by the end of the decade. But the thing is, after seeing that Battle of the Bay game 2 weeks ago, man, and one of my buddies out there called me up after that game. He was so happy as a Raider fan, just beating the 49ers, and I want them to keep that rivalry. That's something that they're not going to have. They'll still have a rivalry, but it won't be the same. It won't be Battle of the Bay, man. That's an awesome rivalry. It takes place every 4 years. I wish it happened every season. Sometimes I wish these teams that are in the same cities or same regions or whatever were in the same division, man. It'd be awesome if the 49ers and Raiders were in the same division, man. Instead of interconference where they only see each other like every 4 years. But I guess that's also what makes it special that they only play each other every 4 years. So, but like I said, man, the thing that I would say, man, I never would have thought that I would have saw the 49ers get a new stadium built. You know, I knew it was going to happen eventually, but when it did, when they got Levi's Stadium built, I said anything's possible for the Raiders to get their stadium built. Anything's possible, man. And now they're staying in Oakland, man. So I'm very, very happy about that, man. That was an early Christmas gift. And I don't know if you guys saw a story. There was a story earlier. Jay Glazer. I was watching. I usually watch NFL Today and Fox NFL Sunday. Both of the pregame shows like simultaneously. I DVR so I could go back, skip some stuff. And so I was watching it, and there was a part with Jay Glazer, and he was getting really emotional. It looked like he was tearing up a little bit, and it was for a good reason. He set this thing up for kids who are in situations where they have sicknesses and stuff like that, or whatever, and he makes their dreams come true around the holidays, and he has these kids meet the players, the coaches, the whole organization, and the Raiders really went out of their way to make this kid. There was a 4-year-old girl who was battling cancer, I believe, and they made her situation really good. They gave her so much stuffed animals. They let her go to the game today. She sat with them, ate lunch with them, all this other stuff. It was a cool experience for all those Raiders. And this was a season where we were hearing so much bad stuff about NFL football players and professional players, and this was a nice change up here to hear this kind of story, and it was awesome, man. I almost teared up myself because especially since it dealt with the Raiders, and there was a player on the team. I can't remember who it was, but there was a player on the Raiders who actually gave over their whole game check to the family. He told the father, "Hey, spend the whole game check on the girl's Christmas to make sure she has one of the best Christmases ever." And I thought that was really cool. That was a situation right there because I got so tired of hearing about the Adrian Peterson, Ray Rice bullshit. I thought all of it was really media driven and these social activists and shit like that. I said, man, this shit ain't really a big deal because it goes on all the fucking time. And I believe, I'm not even going to get into that, man, because that's a whole other thing. But that whole shit was ruining the beginning part of the season. We finally got back to football like it's supposed to be. And this was a story that people need. Those same people who want to get on NFL players about that shit, they need to hear this fucking story right here. This was a fucking story right here that exemplifies that there's good guys in the NFL and there's good people who run the show in the NFL, man. Because if there wasn't, this story would have never happened. You know what I mean? So that was an awesome story, man. It was one of the best stories I heard in a long time in the professional world. That happened. So a lot of bullshit been happening all year. This whole race thing with the police and shit like that. It was just good to hear a good story, and this was one of them, man. Especially around this time of year. But yeah. So the Raiders are staying in Oakland. I'm very happy about that. I was glad because I was like, man, this could be the last game that they ever play in the Coliseum, man. And I always love watching the Raiders games in Oakland. And now I know I have to make sure I get my ass out there to Oakland next year because I was debating if I was going to take a long trip to California again next season. Definitely going to do that, because the Raiders come to Detroit next season. The Lions go out to San Diego, so I was debating if I wanted to go to San Diego, and see the Lions in San Diego. So we'll see how that turns out. I'll let you guys know if I make it to one of those games, man. But yeah, it's awesome, man. I think the people in Oakland, congratulations to you guys and the support. That crowd, when I did watch the first half of the game, that crowd was just on it. I can't wait to watch the second half later on. I know it's an amazing atmosphere, man. It's good shit by the Raiders, man. Always good shit. All right. So that'll be in a separate video. If you're watching that Oakland Raiders video, I'm signing off on that one right now, and I'm moving over to this one now. I'm going to talk about my Lions and I want to talk about the Texans. Let's start with the Lions first. Sorry, Lions fans, that you had to wait like almost 20 minutes. But it was an important day for the Raiders franchise, man. A win and staying in Oakland, man. That was important, man. I had to cover that first, man. There's no way I would have been able to cover that. So now we get into the Lions stuff. They're in Chicago. Let's talk about the game real quick before we talk about next week. Today's game, closer than what it should have been. It's the NFL, any given Sunday. The one thing I knew coming into this game, I said there's a chance that it could be really close because you want to know why? Quarterback change was needed on the Bears. I said all along, and I know other people have said this all along, Jay Cutler was the reason why this season was screwed up. I blame it solely, not all on him, but I blame most of it, like 70% on that motherfucker. And it proved today that team, for the first time since earlier in the season, I seen smiles on their faces. I seen the guys happy again. Even Trestman cracked a smile today. I was really happy for the Bears because even though they lost this game today, they played their asses off against us, man. Actually, I'm not too happy about this win, but I'll take it. But they played their asses off today, man. Clausen should have been in there a long time ago. They should have learned from the McCown situation last year that this guy, Jay Cutler, was not it. I think this game proves that Cutler has to go. I've been on the fence. I've been back and forth with the whole keeping Trestman thing because I think you could keep Trestman in a way. I just hate the leadership side of Trestman. That's where he's lacking. But I think play calling wise, if he has someone not Jay Cutler in that pocket, the Bears can have a pretty decent season next year. To me, I think the least that they have to do, they have to at least make Rex Ryan their defensive coordinator. That's the least thing that they need to do. But I think they're more than likely to fire Trestman. I think they're going to hire another coach. Maybe I'm hearing Todd Bowles and Mike Shanahan are in there. But we'll see about that. I'm actually going to make a video on the Bears off-season plans just for Bears fans because I know I got a Bears fan who listens to my stuff. Just through the lines. He's a Lions fan like me, man. Growing up in the NFC Norris city, that's not Detroit, so that's I wanted to do something for him, so I would do that, and I'll talk more about the Bears then. So after the season ends, we'll see what happens. See if they can get Jim Harbaugh, Todd Bowles, one of those guys, or Rex Ryan. See if they can get him as coach there. But yeah, today's game for the Lions, it started out really well. Reggie Bush was the positive coming out of this game, man. Reggie Bush looked like the old Reggie Bush today, man. I think Reggie Bush is the type of guy that you need to just be ready for this time of year, the playoffs. I think he's really just been gradually going through the season, being very cautious. I don't think he's been that hurt. I just think that he's gradually going through the season, just trying to make it through just so he can be ready for this time of year. And he was big today for this offense. He was big because Golden Tate didn't have the best of games today. This was really the one time of the year that I really seen Golden Tate kind of off a little bit. Stafford, man, he needs to step his play up. I was really disappointed a little bit in Stafford's play today because I thought he could have been a little bit better. But he made some sharp, clutch throws today that kept him winning. People say what they want about Stafford, man, but hey, the dude was clutch when he needed to be clutch today, man. It wasn't pretty at all. The 2 picks looked like old Stafford, but those are just bad decisions. But it's amazing how long he actually went without throwing an interception. I forgot the number that they showed earlier in the game on Fox. It was like it was a long time though, man, since he threw an interception, which is uncommon for him in years past. So Lombardi, if there's one thing Lombardi has done with Stafford is he's protected him all year. This is why I feel confident that the Lions could beat Green Bay because I know he won't make those mistakes. It could happen. He could throw an interception or 2 next week, but I really feel comfortable because I really feel like, as long as everything is on target, he'd be all good. The good thing is Megatron, even though he had a little scare with him when he was injured, it might be an injury that bothers him, during practice week, but I think he got his foot stepped on or something like that, but it wasn't nothing serious. He came back in the game, was still productive, and made clutch catches for us. Ever since he's really been back, he's really done a great job of moving the chains. I thought there was one play that Calvin Johnson made a mistake on Megatron. It was a third down. It could have been a touchdown. He didn't really make that route right. So that's the thing. Here's my biggest complaint about the Lions. The rushing game, I told you guys all year long, I'm sticking by. I'm not worried about the running game because it shows up when it needs to show up. Like in the fourth quarter, that's been a trend. The Lions games have been trends all year. The running game will be terrible for the most part. Most of the year, it'll be terrible. But then when it needs to step up, it does. It does. Drake Bell is another monster in the fourth quarter, man. This dude, he does this like every game, man. Slow the rest of the game. And he really wasn't even in the back most of the game because they went with running back committee by today more than the last few games where he was more the feature back most plays. And, man, his run for that game-winning touchdown was amazing. The thing I love about Drake Bell, he will add on those extra yards, man. And it was amazing. To have him and Bush healthy around this time of year is huge. I think that helps Stafford. But here's the complaint I have. It's not about the running game. This irked the hell out of me with the Lions, dude. Tight ends. They don't use them on this team because they don't have a tight end that's ready, man. I think Fourier might have been. I think he's been injured since that Tampa Bay game because I haven't seen him last week. I didn't see him this week. They haven't been doing the Ebron. We know Pettigrew's probably just using it as a blocking tight end. I mean, and Kellen Davis as well. They could use him the same way unless they really need to use him. They don't really use him in the passing game like that. Thing is, man, I mean, to me, the reason why the game has it's not just been the O-line play, man. It's the fact is they've made it a little bit harder on Stafford to be productive and consistent because they don't throw to the tight ends. They don't mix it up. So the Bears defenders, they knew the receivers were going to get the ball. Johnson, Tate, Corey Fuller a couple of times in this game, Jeremy Ross, they knew these guys were going to get the ball because they don't throw to the tight ends. You got to throw to the tight ends. This is something that they're not going to be able to figure out this season, unfortunately. That's why I said in the offseason, Stafford needs to work with the tight ends next year. I would really like for them to either pick up a free agent tight end or draft another one to go behind Ebron. Just in case Ebron is a bust, they need to see another one. I think Ebron could succeed. I believe in the kid. I know most Lions fans don't. I believe in the kid. I just think that they're protecting him right now. They're not using him. They need to use him in the future. I would really love to start seeing them using Ebron because this kid could get it done, man. And to me, this is where the Lions really struggle at. They haven't really been, they really have not used him. And I think he could be used like he's supposed to be the Jimmy Graham in this system. I think that next year is going to be very interesting for the Lions because this is sort of like a thing where I think that the offense will be more expanded next year. I think Stafford might be even a little bit more comfortable next year than he is this year. For right now, we just have to play with Johnson, Tate, and the rest of the receivers. Right now, I don't think I don't think they can all suddenly just start using the tight end, but I hope they do. I think they're really going to need them for that Packers game. They got to start using Ebron, though, man. I mean, Fourier, too. To me, this is why the Bears had a little bit of success on defense today because they didn't mix it up. They were blitzing, too, pretty well. I think Mel Tucker's game plan today was pretty good. I mean, just that whole game. I mean, you just saw the Bears were elevated by the quarterback switch, man. It's just that they made it too late in the season, man. That's the only thing that went wrong with this because I think they could have put together a few wins here, especially seeing what the Saints did this week. They could have beat the Saints last week had they made the move last week. The defense was even motivated by it. They played hard today, man. It's just all good. And Terrell Austin saw him today, man, towards the end of the game, and This defense, Sue was another monster today, man. Sue was a monster today, and this defense is just so fucking good, man. They lock this team down. It seems like every score now is like 14 points for the opponent. It seems like it's about 14, right? I've seen so many 14 this season. 31-14, those games. 6-14 was one game. 16-14, this game. 20-14. So many games like this, man, where they only give up like 2 touchdowns, man, and that's it. Outside of those 2 touchdown drives, that's all this team is giving up. And it's so amazing to watch this team just progress like that. It's so amazing with this defense, man. And with Sue, and I can't wait to talk about this. After, whenever the Lions lose in the playoffs or whatever happens, win the Super Bowl, God forbid, whatever that last game is, I want to talk about Sue because he's going to be a free agent. I never really want to delve into the season, what's going to happen with him, but that guy makes a huge difference, man. He takes on double teams and frees everybody else up, man. And it was so good. And I saw Calvin Noy out there today. My guy, Calvin Noy, was out there. I saw him on a couple of defensive plays today, man. So I'm glad he got some reps in there, man. Man, DeAndre Levy is an animal. Quinn with another key interception. Hannibal has been one of the huge difference makers on his team. Slade, outside of that Jeffrey touchdown, had a pretty good game. And I thought Mathis today, this game, if anybody, the top 2 stars on the defense today was Sue and Mathis, dude. Mathis was getting it today, man. There was some, he saved us on a lot of throws because Clausen was pretty hot today, but he was breaking up a lot of momentum today. I thought Mathis had a really good game today. Someone for his age, man, to be out there playing like Charles Wilson I was talking about earlier. He did a pretty good game today, man. The defense had a really, really good game. So if we lose Sue, man, I think this is going to hurt. But I think that they need to start looking for his replacement right now if he does not stay, because this defensive line can definitely be owned by Zig. This is going to be Ziggy Ansah's line. If Sue leaves, this is going to be his line. And I also want to talk about the dirty plays, man. The dirty plays. Now, they look like the same old Lions. I don't use that word. But, in this case of the penalties, there was some dumb stuff that they did today. I was pissed off by the special teams today. The special teams is what made me more mad than anything today, man. It was as frustrating as the offense was at times today. That special teams, those 2 plays, is really what kept this game closer than what it should have been. Because they could have been up 21-0, but it is what it is. But here's the thing, though, man. The penalty, the 2 dirty plays, and even if you want to call them dirty, I mean, it is what it is. But I loved it. This is that short shit that I like, man. Rayola stumping on Eagle Ferguson, the rookie. They got into it, man. And then the only thing I didn't like about that, see, the Lions have to be careful around this time of year doing that dumb stuff, though, man. As much as I love it, there's no tolerance with that shit in the league right now. This is a different league today than it was back then. He might have been able to get away with that shit 30, 40 years ago. But, even 20 years ago. But, that's the stuff that's going to hurt, because more than likely I'm hearing that he's probably going to get more fined and suspended, which is really huge because we need him in that game against Green Bay. More than likely, if he did get suspended, he would have been missing that game. And because he's a repeat offender, so that's why a lot of people thought he was going to get suspended. He might still get suspended. I don't know if they're going to, they're probably going to review the tape, tomorrow or whatever and announce it on Tuesday. But Rayola has to have more discipline. Because I know he lets his temper, and that's what I love about Dominic Rayola, man. He lets his temper. He's so prideful. He's so into the game. He protects. He's been protecting Stafford from day one, man. He's been a good protector of Stafford, man. And that's the one thing that you don't see, but that's huge, man. And I like how he just gutted it out, man. That Bears defense got a little bit nasty on us, man. And then there was the other one, Ziggy's hit on Clausen, man. This was just classic NFC North football, man. NFC Norris football. That's what that shit was. NFC Norris football, man. That's what you saw today. just amazing shit right there. From these guys. It was good to see Ziggy Ansah, who's normally not involved in a lot of that stuff, but it was good to see him involved in the nasty play because I like seeing that. Sometimes the one thing about the Lions is they're not going to let anybody bully them, and that's been really one thing since Shorts has been there that they've been able to do. Is that they've been able to develop an attitude where they're not going to let anybody bully them. That was one of my problems with the Lions. Before 2009, I always thought that the Lions weren't tough enough. They let teams roll all over them. Ever since Shorts got there, they've had that bully mentality. They came out there today against Chicago, and they told Chicago, we're the beast in this kingdom right now. We're the king of beasts right now. You guys right now, you're on our field and all this other stuff. And I really just I just really love seeing it. I just really love seeing the guys that was, the nastiness was awesome. The nastiness was awesome. But like I said, it's only bad in the context of us costing penalties and because that was a huge penalty there in the final drive of the game with Ziggy and Clausen. Both of them were important, but we were able to overcome it. Thank God for this defense. We were able to overcome that. And Jimmy Clausen didn't get a game-winning touchdown drive on us because that would have been sick to my stomach. So it's just, right now I feel really good about this team and going into Green Bay. All right, now let's talk about Green Bay. We got the job done today. It was ugly, but this is the one thing about the Lions that I keep telling people. In years past, we would have lost this game. We would have lost last week's game against Minnesota. Had this been last year, we would have lost that game. This year is a different story. These last couple of games have really taught me something about the Lions, more than anything else early in the season. Good teams know how to win ugly. They know how to win ugly. Lions have never done this before. They've never won these type of games where they usually would have lost them. The Bears, they had all the momentum in the world to win that game. They didn't let them. When it was time to step on the gas, I remember Troy Aikman. I told you guys, I like Troy Aikman as analyst. I hate Joe Buck, but I love Troy Aikman as analyst, man. Because he said it. He said it perfectly and clearly. I don't know how much of an emphasis I could put on this right now. It's time to go. He mentioned it. It was time to go. It was time to get that touchdown, that game-winning touchdown on the board, man. You know what I mean? So it was pretty good. Matt Prater got a block kick. It really wasn't on him. Block kicks is something I don't blame on field goal kickers. It wasn't like that one's in the area he missed it. So I don't really count it. He only missed 4 kicks this year. A lot of people saying, man, they've been having troubles on the kicking game. The guy only missed like 5 field goals in the whole season since he's been picked up around week 4. Or is it week 5? Week 4, week 5, whatever. Or was it? No. It was week 6 against Minnesota. That was his first week. But either way, he hasn't missed that many. He's made more than he's missed. I don't know where that's coming from. When people are like, man, they worried about throw that out the water, man. Matt Prater, MP is getting it done, man. Get that out of here, man. I feel confident going with him. If it was a game-winning field goal situation, I would feel really comfortable with that dude. So it's all good. Now, Green Bay, this is the big showdown before I finish this off because I need some room to talk about the Texans. Next week, it's a big showdown. It's coming down to this. Green Bay didn't get upset by Tampa Bay. The only good news coming out of this right now is that I'm hearing Rodgers has a calf injury. He'll be there in the game, but it may affect him, though, which is a good thing, too. Now, Raiola, if you wanted to stump somebody, you should have stumped Rodgers next week. Get him out of the fucking game. Because we know how weak this Packers team is without Aaron Rodgers. As much as I like to call him Aaron by, his female name, E-R-I-N, Mr. Rodgers, he's the only good guy on this. This team fucking sucks. Without this guy, they got exposed last year. They showing what they were about last year. Guys, this team sucks, man. There's a reason why they lost against Buffalo, man. There's a reason why they struggled in Tampa Bay. They have been horrible on the road also. I remember after the New England game, people were talking about, man, this team is going to be great. This team is going to make the Super Bowl. That was a Super Bowl preview. No, it isn't. Now this fucking team. Because guess what? Even if we don't make it that far in the playoffs, guess where they still got to go to get to the Super Bowl? Seattle. Seattle's winning this game right now against fake-ass Arizona Cardinals, the frauds known as the Arizona Cardinals. So glad they're getting out of that first spot. Let's see what Russell Wilson does on this pass. He's getting his team down there. It's 14-6. 13 minutes to go in the fourth quarter as I'm watching this. I'm turning my head back and forth, so you might hear my voice going in and out because I'm trying to watch the game at the same time. That's why I hate doing these podcasts around the time that the game's on. But I'm trying to get it up as early as possible on this video before people go to sleep. So the thing is, like, Seattle's going to be number one. The road to the playoffs going through them. And like I told you guys, as long as Detroit does not play Seattle that first fucking playoff game, I'm all good. We could beat any other team we face in that first round. We could beat Dallas in Dallas. I know damn well we could beat Atlanta and Carolina. Even though those would be tough games. Those are teams that we had a tough time against. And being in their house, the difference with Atlanta, that game was in England. So that game was on a neutral field. We're going to be in the Georgia Dome this time, so it's going to be a little bit tough. Carolina, they're pretty tough at home when they can be. Cam Newton, he's like two different quarterbacks. You don't know what Cam Newton you're going to get. You're either going to get the sucky Scam Newton one or you're going to get the good Cam Newton one. But, it doesn't matter. The thing is, I really want to see Seattle just scored a touchdown. So, yeah, it's definitely looking like Seattle will be winning this NFC West division. Arizona will be a 5 seed. So this is interesting now because now it's going to be interesting. Arizona still has to go to San Francisco, and San Francisco showed a lot of fight. I don't know if you guys saw that game last night, but the Chargers, that was such a good game. That was one of the best games I've seen all season. The Chargers come back on the 49ers, but the 49ers still up. They actually still look like the 49ers, though, man. I mean, Arizona's going to have a tough time winning up there, and they could drop all the way back down to 6, which is insane. So, right now with the Lions, I'm trying to figure out what's the best spot for them to be in the playoffs because we really need to figure this out. Obviously, I'm going to talk about more about this next week. We'll get a clearer picture, but right now, probably the winner of the NFC North will definitely be in a 2nd seed, for sure. Because I think Seattle will wrap up the first. So that means whoever wins that next week game is going to have a bye. To be honest with you guys, because the Lions need a playoff win, I kind of wanted them to be in the 3rd spot more than the 2nd spot. I wanted them to actually host their home game in the wild card, then go on the road the following weekend. That way, they have an easier opponent for the wild card because they could beat Arizona, Green Bay, whatever, man, in that 3rd spot. Right now, Dallas is going to have that spot opening weekend. So we're going to have to deal with having a tough opponent coming in here. It's a possibility we might see the Packers back-to-back here. There's been a lot of talk that we might see the Packers first game of the playoffs. Hey, if we could sweep the Packers 3-0, this would be a dream season right here, man. So there's a chance, man. I mean, the Lions do end up in that spot, then they'll have a bye. All they need to win is one playoff game, and they're in the NFC Championship game. The Super Bowl might come a year earlier than it should for the Lions, man. Because I've been telling you guys, the Lions should be in the Super Bowl next season. But the thing is, let's see. Because I think Seattle's still a tough out, man. I really can't see them going up to Seattle this season and beating them. That's the team I'm scared of. They're too complete. I think, be honest, even though they don't have Golden Tate, they started using these 2 other guys on the team, Helfit and Wilson. They've been using these guys in the offense, and I think they're a lot more scary this year than last year, man. I know they don't have Tate, but that's going to be interesting. And you know that Golden Tate wants to face the Seahawks. He wants to face the Seahawks, man, in the playoffs at some point. I want a game against the Cowboys at some point, no doubt about it. If it takes, if it takes dropping down all the way down to the 6th seed, losing next week, that'd be a pretty good damn showdown. I wanted the Cowboys in Ford Field. That would have been a dream, but I don't see that scenario playing out unless the first seed and unless the only way that happens is Cowboys need to win. Then they'll face the second seed, and the first seed will face who's ever 4 to 6. So that's the only way that happens. Cowboys have to win, and then they'll come up to Detroit for the second week, and that'll be just an entertaining fucking ball game, man. So I can't wait, man. I'm talking playoffs, but we still got a game next week. It's going to be tough, man. By the way, that game was flexed to 4:25, 3:25 for anybody in the Central Time Zone, which pretty much means it'll be in that same slot that the Bears Packers championship game, the NFC North Division game was in last year. It's not going to be on Sunday Night Football like a lot of people thought. I'm actually kind of confused on NBC's end why they chose the Bengals and Steelers game over this one. This seemed like a no-brainer. But it doesn't matter. Both slots are pretty much prime. I mean, that late slot is just as big as sometimes even because if you guys ever pay attention to the ratings, the overrun games at 7 o'clock, the late games at 7 o'clock usually outrate Sunday Night Football most of the time. So it doesn't matter. At least this happens with the time change, man. Because I'll be with family for a couple of days, and then I'll be back on Saturday. So it gives me a chance to kind of clear my head. I can watch the 1 o'clock games, the early games, and just get ready for that Packers game. Like I could kind of breathe, and then I don't have to worry about waiting all day to Sunday Night Football to see this game. So that's the other good thing about it. But like I said, I'm confused because the Bengals, they're not good in prime time. I know the Steelers are a huge draw, so I understood that one, but I didn't really get the Bengals, just Bengals being involved in it, why they would choose that game over the Lions Packers. But hey, it might work out for us because at least in the first half of that Packers game won't be too cold. It'll be more like this Bears game. But I've actually thought about it too. I think it plays into the Lions' favor for it to be as cold as possible in Green Bay. Because the thing is, they're not going to be able to pass as much. We've seen Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau Field in January when it's really cold, him struggling. That offense is not as on point when it's cold outside. So that might actually work into our advantage. We're a rushing defense, so they're going to run the football with Lacy most of this game. That's where he's got this calf injury, so I know they're going to be kind of limited. So this is a game where we just have to focus on stopping Lacy. We have to focus on stopping Lacy. I think we do that. We're in this game. Stafford has to be a lot better. I think we do got to start using our tight ends, but I don't know if they'll be able to do that because I don't know if Ebron's ready right now. But I feel pretty confident that they'll win this game. I won't be surprised if they lose because we got a bad history up there. But if we break this thing, I'm telling you, if we get this win at Lambeau Field, we're in the NFC Championship game for sure this year. I believe it. I believe we're in there. We're going to win the games that we need to win, and that'll be it. So that is what it is. All right, guys. So, Lions, let's do this thing. This is going to be a big week. Enjoy your holidays. Don't think about this game until Saturday, guys. I know you're going to be thinking about it, but don't think about this game until about Friday or Saturday, man. Clear your brains because, look, this is going to be a huge game. A lot at stake here. Packer fans are calling us dirty on their message boards from what I've been hearing. Look, man, it's a huge week, man. If we win this game, we get a home game, the first ever home game at Ford Field. That crowd will be amazing. And then I've said this before, man, because I've been to Seattle, I've been to Kansas City at Arrowhead and Century League Field, man. Seattle is overrated. Kansas City is the real deal when it comes to crowd noise. Seattle is a good 3. Detroit is louder than Seattle, man. And that dome, louder, man. And even because of the way Ford Field is designed, it's not designed the same way the Pontiac Silverdome was, where it was very loud. Like you go back to that 1997 game against the Jets where it was so loud in there, in the Silver Dome. The way Ford Field is built with the glass and the way the roof is built up there, the crowd noise doesn't get as loud as the Silverdome, but it is still really loud in there. And last week's game was really loud from what I've been hearing. The games I've went to this season have been really loud. It's just gonna be amazing, especially if the Cowboys come in here, man. Only one could dream, right? Let's take it one step at a time. Let's just focus on being Green Bay. So, Lions fans, let's do this. Go Lions, war. Now, let me end this video with the Houston Texans, which was a huge surprise. Huge surprise today. I had written this team off. I was so pissed off. If you guys watched my rant from last week, please watch it, because if you missed it, I went off on the Texans not being able to win in Indianapolis. In Indianapolis, you got your fucking asses on today by the Cowboys. Fuck yeah. Fuck Andrew Luck, man. Fuck the Colts. I'm glad they got on today. It seems like every time they got a big game, those motherfuckers get on. Pittsburgh, New England, and now the Cowboy game. That team don't show up, man. Them motherfuckers been talking about this. This is one of the better quarterbacks in the league. Andrew Luck, he chokes all the fucking time. He's a bigger choker than Stafford, man. I'll take Stafford any day of the week. This version of Stafford, because Stafford has become a better quarterback as far as protecting the ball and all that stuff, and I think he's gone through his progressions. He's been moving out of the pocket a lot better. I'll take Stafford over this motherfucker. At least I know Stafford, there's a better chance this motherfucker won't turn the ball over in big games like this motherfucker does. This motherfucker's a turnover machine. People have been making a mistake, saying that, oh, the Colts, they were ready for this game, or they didn't care about this game because they had already won the division. Bullshit. When you got a chance to beat America's team on their fucking soil, you're going to fucking try to win the game. And the Colts still needed to win because they were still in that race with the Broncos for second place to try to get a first round bye. Bullshit, man. We're trying to lose that fucking game. The hell out of here, man. Coming up with a fucking excuse. They got their brains beat in. But anyways, with the Texans, man, I didn't see this one coming, man. Like I said, I wrote them off because I knew Baltimore would probably come in there and win. They needed to get the win, and Baltimore came in there and choked. J.J. Watt was an animal today. Aaron Foster, who's made a huge difference. Case Keenum, man, getting it done, man. The Houston Texans going into next season are going to have to really figure out their quarterback. You know, it's going to be something. I'm really proud of all three of my teams, man. The Raiders, Lions, and Texans, because last season, all three of those teams came into some really bad situations. Lions probably came out the best. They just need to make some changes, but Bill O'Brien has made this a successful season. They're going to be at the very least 8-8, or they're going to be 9-7. Hopefully, if they're going to beat the fucking Jaguars next week. So there's no doubt about that. So they'll be 9-7. They're still in the playoff hunt. Don't think they're going to get in, but hey, if by some miracle they make it in, I mean, this is going to be huge. So, you know, we will see. We will see, because it will be, you know, it will be huge, man. I mean, Texas is going to finish off this season positive. Even the Raiders are going to finish the season out positive, knowing how good their future is looking. Just very good situation right now. I couldn't believe the Texans beat the Ravens today. I'm absolutely floored by it. I caught a lot of that game while I was watching the Lions game, and man, it was a really good effort. We have Andre Johnson. It was a really good situation. Or did we have out? Because when I was watching the game, I didn't see Andre Johnson out there, man. Let me look this up real quick. Did he play today? Let me see. Trying to see if Andre Johnson played today, because I did not see him today. So I'm assuming that he didn't play. I can't find anything right now. It's all about this fantasy shit. Let me see. I say something about a 1,000 catch milestone. Johnson did catch the ball. He had a touchdown today. That's another game. I usually rewatch these games, man. When the Lions are on, man, that's the only team I'm paying attention to, man. Really. So I caught a lot of that Texas game on Red Zone, and so I didn't see too much of it, but I'm just floored that they even won that game, man. The whole situation there has turned into a positive one down there in Houston. So I think this team, they got a hell of a defense to build on. They just got to find the right quarterback, and they should be able to make it back into the playoffs next year and to challenge the Colts for this division. Jaguars and Titans will be better too. So I think the AFC South is slowly going to improve as a division over time. It's going to be a pretty close ass division. So I'm pretty happy about that. So pretty good this week, guys. Good week this week. So I just want you guys to enjoy your holiday. Like I said, huge week 17. So Marshawn Lynch just scored another touchdown. 28. They're going to get 28-6, and Seahawks going to wrap up the NFC West. So they will have the number 1 seed. Cardinals showing everybody why they were a fucking fraud. So you know what? I would even like the Cardinals to come to Ford Field this year. I would love them to come to Ford Field and get our revenge on their asses in the playoffs. Would love to see that shit happen, man. And motherfuckers talking about Bruce Arians, coach of the year. Get that shit to Jim Caldwell. This motherfucker inherited a team that was trouble. You know what I mean? So, fuck Bruce Arians. Fuck the Arizona Cardinals. Fuck the Green Bay Packers. Fuck Aaron Rodgers. Fuck the Indianapolis Colts. Fuck Andrew Luck. Fuck Peyton Manning for taking over that fucking AFC West division, man. I can't wait until those motherfuckers are bad again. The Denver Broncos, get the fuck out of the way so the Raiders can pop back up, man. And I even felt like Phillip Rivers deserved to be I'm pulling for Phillip Rivers in the AFC. The two teams I'm really pulling for are New England and San Diego. If San Diego gets in there, if not, I don't mind Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh hasn't really been good in a little bit since their last Super Bowl run. So we will see. We will see. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Like I said, happy holidays, guys, and peace. Green Bay next week. Big one. Peace.